Welcome to the Dirt Life podcast. This is episode 7 with John. So John, welcome. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Kind of short notice. You made it happen. You were just up in Fort Mac or something, or?
Yeah, you bet. I was up in the oil sands.
You're the creator and founder of a clothing line.
Yeah.
Explain this a little bit.
It's Apparel. It's like a shout out to all the heavy equipment operators that take care of their families and work long hours and spend a long time away from their kids.
I love it. Like the logo is stacked with smoke blowing out and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole play on the whole cat. So do you have an online store that people can buy it from?
Yeah, for sure. It's DIRTLifeApparel.com. It's I kind of just winged it off Shopify there. So
This is the best way to do it.
Yeah, man. It's definitely grassroots.
I just relaunching my store, actually. I just got it up and going the other day. I only have a couple things on it right now, but I'm relaunching that. But I would love to support and tell people about your brand, because I didn't really have any help with mine. Like, I had to do all the work myself. So
For sure.
now that I have a platform and people watching and stuff like that, I would love to help a fellow guy trying to make it, right? During the day, you're an operator, and at night, you're trying to work on designs and clothes and like just trying to do something extra, or what?
Yeah, for sure. It was just like it was just an idea. It was brought up. Someone found out my wife and I were having a kid, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to call you guys Dadderpillars now, right?" And we kind of went back and forth on the radio, and just stupid ideas for shirts and shit like that, and I kind of just took it and ran with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's turned into something, and the people are actually pretty excited with the brand. So I think there's more to it. I just got to lean into it more.
Do you do the designs on your own? Do you hire a graphic designer?
I hire a graphic designer. I kind of spitball some stuff together.
I have one,
Oh, you do? Okay, well that's good to know.
I do. I mean, you don't have to use them. I'm just saying.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to support
Yeah.
local people in Calgary here. So
For sure.
yeah, oh, that's cool.
Let's hear a little bit more about you. You're an operator?
Yeah, you bet. I've been in the industry for about 11 years. I started in the oil field in 2012, labored for a long time, went to equipment school. I know you're not a huge fan of that. I'm not either anymore. I didn't have to pay for it. It was kind of like a program.
Mm-hmm.
I did that in Kamloops, and they were like, here you go, you're a heavy equipment operator. Mm-hmm. And I went up north, and they're like, here's your goon spoon, right? Like, get in the ditches and do the hard labor.
So let's touch on that just a little bit. Equipment school. So I'm glad you went to one. Did you learn enough to hold a job?
No. I knew how to check the fluids, the basics of the machine. There was a lot of things they didn't touch upon. And we were in class for a month and then in gear for a month.
Mm-hmm. Were you taught about job sites and maybe how a job site works, or like how to navigate a job site and like what your first day is going to look like?
Like grade stakes or nothing. They just kind of pumped your tires, and we got to fuck around in an old spill pile at a mine, and you just kind of got to move some shit around. And we were in our own environment, right? So we didn't know what it was like to interact with other operators, or build anything, or excavate anything.
Because I've never been, but from what I hear, you get filled with false hope and stuff like that. Most people were paying like 20 grand for a course, right? Yours was sponsored, whatever you said it was there. Mm-hmm. But like, people are going in debt to take this, and like they think they're gonna have a job after, when it's actually a joke. When most employers, they see, oh, he went to operator school. Oh, fuck, he doesn't know shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it actually put me back, man.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was gonna go jump on a 40-ton rock truck, and they're like, no. I was like, oh yeah, I went to school for that. They're like, yeah, right on. And I put a target on my back.
Damn.
Yeah.
What could change something like that? From your perspective, someone who's went to school and experienced the target on your back and all that, like.
I'd say leaving with like legit expectations of like, hey, you're not gonna get on a cat, you're not gonna get in a hole day one. You're probably gonna be on the ground shoveling shit, laying filter cloth, whatever, setting grade for culverts, shit like that, right? Like, you gotta watch the other operators first. And then maybe if someone shows up or doesn't show up, or they call in sick, you get in a Packard. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of go up from there, right?
Were you disappointed?
I just put my head down.
You just
It's
did
just
it.
like,
I mean,
whatever.
you didn't really have an option at that point, right?
I was in camp and first experience in Alberta, and I just said, let's do this, right? So.
Do you run hoe? Do you run dozer? Like, what do you do exactly?
Yeah, for sure. So like a little bit of hoe, a little bit of everything, but
Mm-hmm.
not enough consistently. And actually, before my current job, I was at the landfills in Calgary for 4 years, 4.5 years. So I ran dozer and track loader. So I got lots of track loader experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my bread and butter right now. And then just in the mines, I got moved over to MST, which is Mine Services team.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on the dozer this last week.
So how's that going?
Oh, it's sick, man. It's sick. I went from like D7Es to getting signed off 6, 8, 10, or 6, 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
And next set will be D11s.
To get on a dozer, you have to work there how long?
I was in a packer for like a year and a half, just kind of pushing garbage, making grades, making slope. And then they're just like, oh, loader's next, right?
Like in the mine?
At the mine? Yeah, the mine, it took me a long time. It took me basically 10 months before they even really got my shot there.
Like, I say that I don't really have an ego, but I kind of did in this one scenario. It's like, well, I should go work up in the mine, but it's like, I'm not running a fucking rock truck for a year or two to get on a dozer. Like, he just, like, look at my resume. Like, he watched me
Yeah.
online and, like, just throw me on a dozer
sure.
now.
For sure.
I felt like I was maybe too good to run a rock truck for that long. I mean, that's...
I get it. There is something cool about running ultra class trucks, like 400 tons on your back.
It's boring. I don't
But-
like going around in a circle.
I agree.
I'd rather back and forth in a dozer than go around in a circle.
If you go through like recruitment and they hire you as MST,
That's
then
different.
it takes about like 3 months. You
Gotcha.
kind of get your 400 hours on your Komatsu 980,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can go over. You got to kind of prove yourself there first.
Like, I wish, I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, I do kind of wish that I did actually work up in the mines, because I've never experienced that. I mean, I know a lot about it, but
For sure, yeah.
I've just never done it myself, right? But whatever.
Oh, it's pretty sick, man. Like the first couple days is overwhelming, even just the size of the trucks, right? And you're going to 4100 class rope shovels, like it's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. You stay in camp up there, or?
Yeah, week on, week off. Flights are paid. We're in a pretty decent camp. Right now we have executive rooms, so bigger beds, bigger
Mhm.
showers, your own setup. I've been in some pretty nasty camps on Highway 881, right? Like old school shits.
I've stayed in a couple camps. Like, I never worked in the mines, but I've done camp jobs and stuff, road building and that
Sure.
stuff. I hate camp life. Like, I just
Yeah.
got so... I mean, I was fat. Like, I was eating bacon every morning.
Yeah,
and,
man.
like,
Yeah.
they're just like, the biggest I ever got. I mean, they have gyms there. At the end, I started going to the gym. But just the whole camp life, like, I missed my kids every day.
Sure.
Like, back then, my kids were really little. So it was tough. So, like, that's why I kind of quit the camp life to come home and got a job at Kidco. So, like, it was less money, but it was consistent.
For sure.
And I was home every night. So that's the route that I chose.
For sure.
I mean, you make probably tons of money up there, don't you?
Well, it's pretty good, but we don't have overtime. It's blended rate, so you kind of get your hours for your money for 2 weeks. And if you stay for longer, 3 more days or come in 4 days early, then you get your overtime rate. But it's pretty good. Like the job I was at prior, like at the landfill, I was basically 6 and 1, and I'd see my kids for an hour after work.
Oh,
And on that one day off, 90% of the time I'd get called in. So it was nuts.
Crazy. Yeah, I know all about that too. I did that for a long time. What don't you like about construction or your job or like whatever?
There's a lot of high school shit out there. Like I'm in a pretty big crew. There's about 200 of us. I'm with an embedded contractor, whole different environment there, of like, kind of like 2-tier. We're kind of lesser than, but a lot of people will go out of their way to show you respect and everything. Even just getting promoted recently, there's been a lot of backstabbing and shit like that, where people can't just be happy for you or don't even care, just mind your own career, mind your own business, right? So, and a lot of rats too.
Like why are they upset? Why jealousy and stuff? I don't get it.
I don't know, just maybe because they've been promised something or They think they deserve it over somebody else. Because I'm kind of new and I kind of came in and maybe kicked down some doors and other people are going backwards. But I mean, that's not up to me. I'm focused on my own career, right?
As a foreman who's been in that position with the ability to promote people on different machines and stuff like that, as well as being an operator, I get both perspectives of it. And like, as a foreman, it's like you pick people for specific reason. The people who are jealous may not know that reason, and I don't actually have to explain myself to them. Like, it's like
For
my
sure.
children. I decide, I don't need to explain to you why. I'm the parent, right?
Yeah, this is my role.
You were probably doing a bunch of different things that the foreman was impressed with or liked, or just seeing huge potential in you from the way maybe you talk to him or other people. You may just know your shit and like have your shit together and like not being tired in the morning every morning.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
getting proper sleep. Like you can tell if someone's been up all night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, and fit for duty is their biggest thing. Like, it's the biggest equipment in the world. You're driving a 2-story truck, right? It's the same size as my house. And then when you get in the gear, you're spotting those trucks in beside you. Like, you need to be on the ball.
You're in a dry camp, or
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
but is it actually dry?
As far as I can tell, I don't spend too much time.
Yeah.
You know, hanging out with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a long drive to and from, so there's not too much time. But I've heard lots of stories. There's, I just keep away from it. I've been sober and clean for 2.5 years, so
Right on.
I don't need to be any a part of that. Right?
Yeah, no, me too. When I worked in camp, it was funny. Like guys would like, they would sneak out and like sneak shit in, and it's like they're getting fucked
Yeah.
up. And like, here's me in my little room on my computer, being a nerd, trying to build a brand and
For sure.
make construction shit that I filmed all day on my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
So that kept me out of trouble.
For sure.
It wasn't always that way. I was deep into drugs, as most people were in construction. But it's been a decade now, right?
You know, and I used to do all that too, the sneaking out to the pickups in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And drinking,
I mean, that's real shit.
whatever,
That's like what happens, right? So
That's what it is, right? And especially like, we would be oil field in the winter, so banging in ice roads and leases, and then in the summer it's road building, and we'd be staying at a motel, and there's your bar. Every night.
road builders are the worst.
Oh, yeah. Or even pipeliners, man.
Yeah, them
like
too.
yeah, they kind of blow into an area, kind of take over, and it's chaos, right? But
Making big money, just blowing it on everything.
yeah, and when you're 24 and 4,
Yeah.
you got a lot of partying to do in 4 days, right? So,
Unless you have a family and stuff, right? I mean, even still, I've seen people with families that just like, I mean, they're just pieces of shit at that point.
for sure, just off the rails, right?
Like, if your wife and kids only knew what you were up to.
Oh yeah.
Not you, but like
Yeah,
other
no,
people,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's definitely available there, right? It's like you can run 2 lives, and you go to work, do your thing, and then afterward, like you say, you can just be a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I myself was like that for a little bit too. I brought this up on another podcast, I think, but that led to my divorce and shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough being in camp in a way, you know.
Sure.
It's not trying to make an excuse or whatever, but like, yeah, no, it's tough. It's a whole different
Yeah,
lifestyle,
man.
right? So
Oh, it is. It takes a lot, and it is what you make it, right? I had no intention of ever going back up north until I heard about, it was a shitty couple months at the dump, and I heard about this 1-in-1, and that's the first time I heard that. Flights paid. And there's actually like opportunity there. I had maybe, $2-3 more bucks I could make an hour where I was, and it's just like the sky's open. It's endless right now.
So you're staying there for a while now? You're not going to jump around for $1? Or?
No. And like, you can go next door and do this, and their safety program's different or whatever, and it's just like, I'm comfortable where I am. Like, it's a really good crew. I like the people around me, I like the gear, and I see that we're a young mine too, and there's a lot of young, like, supervision and everything, so there's a lot of growth. I'm almost 40, I gotta start thinking about retirement and everything, and who knows what the markets are gonna do, but there should be 40 more years of mining there. So I wanna stick around, I'm happy with it so far. It works with the wife that's scheduled too, she's happy.
Yeah.
So.
What's your take on electric equipment?
I don't think it's gonna work, and like specifically at our place, we don't have really good soils. We're very saturated. Our roads suck. They really do. And apparently that's kind of been the reason why autonomous hasn't worked there. I think at Curl, like I can't say for sure, but I think at Curl they're fully autonomous. But I've heard they're having some issues. Like our tailings guys, they had remote dozer operations. Apparently they're back to boots in the cab. So like I don't know if all these things, yeah, on paper they're great and mitigate and safety and everything, but like I don't know if it's practical yet.
This guy's dying all the time in the tailings ponds. They break through the ice and like all sorts of shit going on. Like,
Yeah, man.
what's up with that? Like, why is that happening?
I don't know. That's a whole nother world that like we're not really exposed to. There's a lot of visibility issues.
The guys with no experience, like,
Maybe could be guys with no experience. I heard they're outfitted with like infrared cameras and everything for the winter because there is no visibility. Just different soft conditions. You really need to know and feel where your tracks are at all times. Like even the other day, my trainer up there, we were working on I don't know how many different kinds of material, but we were cutting a 3-to-1 slope and the water's just pissing out. We're kind of trying to sub out the toe and backfill it, and as fast as you backfill it, it's saturated again, right? So he was telling me the more you track on this in situ ground, the more you're drawing the water up. He said that's what they do in tailings. So when they get this slurry out there, they track pack, not for compaction, but to draw the water up and drain it into the pond. So, I mean, that's kind of the extent of what I know about that, but it sounds like it's pretty sketchy work out there.
you're on the dozer now. What types of tasks do you do with your dozer?
So, like, we're not taking the ultra class trucks all the time. We're not building dumps or building the dike right now or anything like that. We're doing little tasks like building sand chimneys, which is, from what I understand, to help see if there's a breach. If there's a breach in any of these dikes, it'll kind of undermine where the water is in the sand. It'll drop down. You can quickly excavate the sand, and then you can find where your dike has failed. And just building roads, pipeline corridors, crane pads, shit like that. I guess it's pretty new to the mining up there because they usually just hire contractors to do it. So now they're finding it's a lot more cost effective to do it in-house.
I like mining too. I mean, I find it a little bit boring, or not that I've done it, but
Yeah, it is repetitive. And if you ask any of those Suncor dozers, like on the Zone 3 dumps, like where it's just,
there's no grade stakes, right?
yeah, you've got GPS and they kind of rough grade.
Yeah.
But like they're dealing with stuck trucks all the time. I'm sure it gets pretty boring for them. And a lot of guys, they'd rather be doing the work we're doing, where it's actual construction, right?
Yeah, I love road building and
Oh, yeah.
all sorts of shit.
Something like that, for sure.
Grade stakes and ditches and back slopes and like all sorts of shit like that.
Sure, yeah. That's why this last week's been mint. Like when you messaged me, I just got signed off on the D9, and that was the biggest cat I've ever run.
You like
It's just
it?
like it was.
Is it a T or what
yeah,
is
it's
it?
a T. Yeah, they're all T's right now. I don't know if we got any.
I love the D9. It's just the short nose on that D9, the way that the hood's designed. I love the look of that dozer.
Yeah, there's something about it proportionally, hey? And the power, man, it was sick. And the gear that I was running before was pretty clapped out near the end of its life. Everything needed an undercarriage, and this was just rebuilt, so this last week, I've been spoiled, man.
It makes a huge difference, hey? Like, although it's like steel on steel, the undercarriage makes a huge difference when it's brand new.
Oh, for sure. Like if you're leaving your laydown and you're rattling like crazy and you're not on pit run, it makes for a miserable day, right?
Oh, I've ran lots of clapped out, all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
I once ran a D6H, no seat, no joke.
Really?
I trimmed this whole pond with this D6H with no seat. I had to use a strap and a milk carton. I had to strap it to the bolts where the seat was.
Holy shit.
And then I duct taped a pillow from home on it. And then I had a rope that I would tie myself in. And that's how I trimmed that shit.
No shit, eh?
Yeah.
That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, and I had I hate C-frame blades. Like for the
Yeah.
pipelines, they're just like, there's so much play in them, and like you gotta hop out, pop the pins to angle it. I mean, it sucked to trim with, but made it
for
work.
sure.
But
For sure. That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
love dozers. I am glad you're in a dozer. Like, I
Oh,
love
it's
that
meant.
shit.
It's meant. They were trying to talk to me about, you know, how much hoe experience I have, and then I kind of watch what these guys are doing. It's like, I'm not, like, I'll do it if it needs to be done and take the training, but just to be multi-skilled operator, but I'm happy in a cat all day long.
Let's change gears here a little bit. What trends are you seeing online when it comes to construction in general, whether it's like earth moving or mining or whatever? Like, what do you see?
I see a lot of fluff. I don't really think it represents the industry, some of it, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool to see the gear move the stuff, and there's a lot of ego on there. A lot of guys, I'm the best in the world, and no one can.
Keyboard operators are the worst.
Yeah, man, for sure. And then the comments coming back, and, you know, why are you doing it this way? What's going on here? I don't know, man.
I've dealt with that
it's
shit
a
for
strange
years.
place, like the internet, right? And then, yeah, everyone's, like you said, a keyboard operator, right?
I've dealt with that for years, whether it's a post or something on YouTube or whatever, but it's like you can't always do things textbook way. Like, I realize it should be done this
Sure.
way, but like you see a snapshot of time and you only see what's in frames. Like, oh, you should drive in straight or back in. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, but there's like a big sinkhole right here that you don't see. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why we're doing it this way.
Sure.
We always try to do it the proper way, but there's elements or factors that you don't see outside of frame that are dictating us to do it this way. So shut the fuck up. We know what
Yeah.
we're doing.
That you can't put in a minute clip, like when
Yeah.
you're gonna do a walk around
Yeah.
of the whole entire area.
Mhm.
These are our challenges, and then go push something, push a buggy, tag up with another buggy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, shit like that. No, for
So-
sure, there's too many factors, and yeah, everybody knows everything until they get in the seat, right?
Yeah, like most people move dirt properly or effectively or whatever. I mean, there's the odd one that are like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
But for the most part, everyone's trying to do the best that they can with the conditions that they have and stuff like that, right? So,
for sure.
wish guys would just shut up. Like, I'm still seeing, like, on my TikTok and stuff, guys are comments. It's like, why? How I am is like, if I don't have nothing good to say, I won't say it. Like,
Yeah, just keep it
I
to
see shit
yourself,
all the time.
right?
I don't say a word.
Yeah.
Like, it's not doing anything. It's
Yeah.
not helping.
No, for sure.
I also don't want to bring people down or just even start shit. Like, it's not what I'm about.
Yeah, and if you're not there and it's not your crew, then what are you gaining and what are they gaining?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's just
So.
stroking your ego and looking like a dick online, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Not a good look, in my opinion.
No, for sure.
Trying to do things to help the industry, not bring it down or tear people down, right?
Yeah,
So,
for sure. And like as far as my space there, like I'm horrible at social media, and it kind of sucks. I can't take pictures of anything. I can't have your phone on you, so like my content's kind of dwindled right down. But yeah, so that's something I got to work on.
yeah, I once got fired for making construction pictures and filming and all sorts of stuff, but
Yeah, no kidding.
I know I get up there, it's super hard, right? Like, no cell phone, and yeah.
Yeah, like you got to get permits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a challenge. Even from like when I worked my day job, like I had constant access to posting construction stuff, and then I retired from construction to do this stuff. It's like, oh shit, I don't have content anymore. So now I need to like get work, doing work for companies, doing content. So I have even my own content to post, right?
Yeah,
So it's
for
like,
sure.
I always find there's this weird transition where a person is doing something correctly online, like me or a YouTuber or whatever, and they have a day job, and that day job kind of helps them get to where they're at. And then they're at the point where they're able to retire from that day job, and like everything changes because like they don't have the access to the content or access to whatever it was that got them there.
For sure.
And they find themselves in this pinch. It's like, this did not turn out the way that I did, and like content goes down, their channel goes like down. Like it's this weird thing trend that I'm seeing with multiple people who kind of have done what I'm doing or something similar.
For sure. Like they've made it,
Right.
but now this is a whole new challenge.
Yes.
And they got to utilize their network, right?
So it's interesting. But just, I don't know, some bullshit I see online.
Yeah, for sure.
It
It's a weird place.
is a weird place, and like I pay attention to everything. Like I don't comment on stuff, but I'm watching. I mean, it's my job to watch. I kind of have to watch. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So.
Got your finger on the pulse.
But try to. Like I'm also trying to do a bunch of other stuff. So like now I have my film crews. I'm not filming anymore. I don't edit anymore. Like I got them guys doing that. Right now I'm just doing podcasts. I'm gonna do some.
Deadly, man.
I'm gonna do some posting and stuff like that. This is all I'm really gonna be doing for a while. So I have a ton of guests on every Friday. I'm gonna have a new episode, just pumping these things out, and I'm trying to pick people like you, real experience and like real shit in it, live in it. Just talk about it. Yeah. So when it has to be right, you can trust Leica Technology to help you get the job done and grow your business with their cutting edge technology. Training employees is challenging and expensive, but Leica's simple to learn, simple to use products allow you to get your workforce up to speed much faster. Trust me when I say Leica Machine Control will help you move more dirt more efficiently. For more information on Leica Geosystem Solutions, please visit leica-geosystems.com. Now that we're back from the commercial, I would like to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Leica Geosystems. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about landfills. This is like where you have a bulk of your experience?
Yeah, for sure. It was a really good place to get a lot of seat time. It's looked down upon, and I understand why. I was going over there to fill in for a guy, and when I found out that was happening, I was like, fuck, I don't want to go to a landfill. Like, that's disgusting, right? Of course, the first couple of days, it's nasty. But you kind of get over that, and then you're like, hey, the foreman's not around, because we were third party to the city, so my foreman wasn't around. We weren't like upper ass or anything on the radio. So we're doing our thing, and then, well, there's no rain days. Basically 365, right? So it's like, okay, there's some stability. Because before I came to the city, it was like every 6 weeks you're looking for a job. And it's not because I was getting fired or kicked off site. It's you'd finish a contract and good luck, see you later. Maybe we'll have winter work, maybe we won't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or break up. So anyway, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it. And I kind of got there and I realized how sweet it was. And it was like within my first week, actually, I was just like, that's it, I'm coming over. Because we were trying to get our roots in, start a family, everything like that. And yeah, like for 4.5 years, it was really good. I mean, it sucked that I worked so much, but it was able to get me ahead. And then, the opportunity on the equipment, the steady hours, where it wasn't just, a little bit here, you can self-load yourself in your rock truck over here, whatever. It actually gave me a lot of time to develop my skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what got me to where I am right now, the opportunity I've got this last little bit here. So, and even for new people, right? It's not about skipping the time in the ditch with the shovel in your hand. That's always going to be good. That's a vast wealth of knowledge that you can get by breaking some sweat. But if people want to get on gear and they don't really want to do that, and they can put up with the disgusting parts of the landfill, then there's always going to be 3 different pieces of gear that need to be ran. And if you show up every day and you got a good attitude and you just kick ass, then you can get time on a track loader. And then you really start to develop your skills. And then you get on the dozer and you're just kind of taking care of everything. And then in that position, at least for us, we were kind of running the job site. We were directed by the foreman's kind of what we were doing, the big game plan, and then just kind of would disappear, and we would work with the city personnel.
I never worked at landfills. I don't know a whole lot about it. I built a couple landfill cells. Earth moving, but I've never worked at a landfill. So like, explain a scenario of like a game plan that a foreman may come to you with. Like, is there grades that you have to?
Yeah, there's certain grades. You got to have like 3-to-1 slopes, kind of on your finished edges. You need 30 cents of cover everywhere. Between your faces and your floors every 60 meters. You have fire breaks because fires can just spontaneously happen, a couple 100 meters away from where you're working now. Boom, all of a sudden one can happen and
so
start smoking up the slope.
So they lay down, push garbage, compact it, and then you put a dirt layer over top?
Yeah, pretty much. So like you push up a face, and if you're building a new cell, it's kind of like a trapezoid shape.
Yeah.
You work really hard on your top because that's going to be your next floor. So and then you just chase everything with dirt. You got to keep, you know, they say like a pack and a half width. That's the only amount you can have exposed. And every 60 meters, you cap everything with a fire break so that it doesn't spread throughout the whole cell.
Gotcha.
And fires like every day.
Really?
When you're on the loader, yeah, you'll be pushing. And the thing is,
Like how?
Car batteries, propane tanks, like people throw out full barbecues with like a full 25-pound propane tank. Like I don't understand what they don't understand what's going on, but you see this machine with big, huge steel wheels and just pitch it, right? The public's 20 feet away from the tow, so like, it's insane. I don't know any other industry where there's people that close to heavy equipment that don't have any clue about like
Yeah, they have no
spots or
experience being around it
anything,
at all,
like,
yeah.
at all, right? They can't even drive their vehicle, let alone figure out what we're trying to do. So it's quite the environment. And all of a sudden, boom, you'll see a big, you know, something's on fire, holy shit, and you beeline over there, you try to scoop it out of the face and segregate it and get it covered with dirt, get a water truck over right away. Try to be upwind away from people as much as possible, right? Because you have no idea what's on fire, man. Like it's pretty gnarly stuff. And then some of the grosser things, that maybe we don't need to get into that, but like there's animals and stuff.
Really?
Right? Yeah, like every day. Like it's something else, but if you got a sick, twisted sense of humor, you can have some fun there. But yeah, like it was good. And it got a bad rap too. I know when I went over there, we were at a big family thing, and someone asked me, I was like, "Oh yeah, I transferred over here. You know, it's a good career move." And oh, that's disgusting. Well, like I bought a nice house from it, and supported my family with it. So, I mean, it's all perspective, right?
It could be worse. There's guys that suck out fucking outhouses
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
man.
Like
there's definitely worse. When you're in your cab, you're doing your thing. Right?
Your,
So-
yeah, your tracks are plugged up or whatever with
Yeah.
garbage and shit, but it's cleaning your cab. It has a pressurized filter.
HEPA system,
Yeah, so like whatever. I mean, you get used to smell.
for sure.
It probably takes a little while.
The
like,
tracks
but
suck.
Tracks suck.
Whatever.
Do you clean tracks every day then, or no?
Down, yeah, at the landfill, you
Yeah.
do for sure. Yeah, every day.
Because like I see like shirts and wire and everything
Oh man,
jammed up in there.
mattresses. There's always diapers by your final drive. Like, you know, it's gnarly. I've come off the packer one time and there's needles on your step. And you're
That's
like,
gross.
You're like, holy fuck, man! Like, you really need to be aware of your surroundings. So you just, I don't know. I've been lucky, but yeah, you can find some disgusting things there. But it was good, man. Like, I'm out of there, I'm doing my own thing.
What I like about it is you were saying it's very consistent because like in construction it's weather dependent and like
Yeah.
you have no rain days because like whatever, it's garbage. Just
Yeah,
doesn't
like
matter.
it's gonna keep coming.
Yeah.
And the scale is gonna send you people out 4-wheel drive or tow hooks.
yeah.
So they're gonna get nutted in your road and wait 5-6 hours for a tow truck.
For me as an operator that worked earth moving, that was weather dependent. It's like I had 4 months off, so I had to either save my money all year to make it through or go on EI, which I only did once or twice in my entire career.
For sure.
Or something, right? Because like you kind of screwed, and like it's not very consistent because like it could rain for a week straight, so you're missing a week out of your next paycheck.
Oh,
so
for
like
sure.
it's actually very hard to work in a weather dependent construction industry like we have here down the States where they work all year round sometimes, or Vancouver where it's all rock and it rains and they work through it all year round.
Yeah.
That's fine, but here is super challenge for me. So I love the idea of landfill. Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, there's shitty days with your muddy tracks and mattresses and everything in there, but you're getting paid, right? You're making money. It's probably going to be a slower day. You're not really going to accomplish
is it good
much.
pay?
It's like, yeah, it is pretty good pay.
Standard, like from earth moving or whatever? Or
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close. Depends. Like, it's not going to be underground rates. You know, guys digging triple ditch or anything, right? But it was pretty good. I made 6 figures there. So it wasn't bad. Benefits, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, right on. You met Jordan there?
Yeah, that's where I met Jordan Sudar. Yeah, he was pretty good shit. Like right away, we got along, and he's the guy that kind of helped me get up north. And yeah, now we're working together on cats.
He used to work for me.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know this?
Well, he kind of mentioned it a little bit. Yeah.
You should ask him how he got on a dozer.
Oh, I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Ask him who gave him a chance.
Oh shit. Well, and he's recognized as like one of the finest finishers in that hole, man. So you guys obviously trained him up really well.
Going back to what we mentioned before about seeing, like what I mentioned about being a foreman, seeing potential in someone, that's why I give them a promotion or give them a chance or something. He's a perfect example.
For sure. For sure. Solid dude, too,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. I hope to get him on the podcast. I just need to get him here.
Yeah. I think he'd be a good guest. He's probably got a lot of good stories.
He worked for me on the Ring Road. I don't know what year that was, 2017, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So years ago now.
Yeah, no doubt. I try to get on that job.
Did you?
Yeah. I try to get on Kiko Forever, too.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Should have asked me.
Well, I didn't really know, right, at the time, but yeah, man, I guess I could have reached out through socials.
Yeah, guys
HR
used to do it all the
did not
time.
like the cut of my jib, I guess, so. That was
Well, yeah, because you went to operating school.
Yeah, I didn't.
Take that off your resume.
Oh, yeah, no, that does not help, and it took me a little while to learn that, but yeah, no.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't tell many people that anymore.
What's a challenge for you?
I don't know, man. I've got it pretty sweet right now, and I've kind of, like, pursued that. So, like, there's not too many challenges right now. Like, it's a wicked opportunity that I've got. I think the biggest challenge is developing my business, really. The challenge is suppliers, and I need capital. But I'm a single income household, so I can't smash a bunch of money into marketing or, a social media expert or something like that, right? So it's a lot of trying to divvy things up.
I was not any different. I did it all on my own. So back in 2011, 2012 or something, I was like, I need a website because I want to start my own clothing line. Couldn't pay $6,000. Like
Yeah.
I had young children and I was married and stuff, and like I couldn't afford that. So like I would work all day and go home and learn computer coding so I could build my first website. So I learned coding so I could do it on my own.
Yeah, well, there probably wasn't Shopify.
There was none. That shit did not exist.
Something like that.
Nope. HTML coding for everything. So you had to learn a language of coding, basically. And it turns out I'm a little bit nerdy, so it was easier for me than the normal construction person, I guess.
For sure, yeah.
And techie like that. But,
Yeah.
dude, it was hard as shit. Like, I had no money. No one helped me. Like, I would buy one thing at a time or whatever. And then I tried drop shipping, but that shit, like, didn't like the quality, and like print design to be crooked and it's a challenge. So I did stop mine 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm just about to relaunch it, but
Deadly.
dude, I know your challenges.
Yeah, you kind of been there.
Dude, I've been there.
Yeah.
It was hard as hell.
Yeah, man.
And like I had to market my own stuff, so it's like I had to learn how to be good on social media, and like because I basically got online to do all this stuff to promote my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then my online stuff took off more than my YouTube, so I backed off of YouTube.
The long form. Oh, shit.
So now I do whatever I want. Like, I'm doing it all now, but
Yeah.
so
Well, you've developed your base, right?
yeah.
You've got your
But
brand.
dude, it's been hard as shit.
Yeah.
I totally get where you're coming from, and like, so I want to help you, so you don't have to
Yeah,
do it as hard as me, right?
No, that's
so
cool. And like a thing too is like being consistent, right? Like now there's a demand, and it's just like there's no one else that's going to do this for me, right? So if I want to be successful, then yeah, getting up at 5 a.m. on your days off and sitting down there and trying to build another website, trying to update it the simple way, not doing code or anything.
Yeah.
But like dealing with supplier issues, quality control issues, like you say, right? And another thing is like, I'm not a photographer by any means. I'm just sitting there with your iPhone, but
I wasn't either.
I was learning product photography, like I made a little photo rig and everything, and was trying to teach myself Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and stuff like that, all through quick YouTube videos,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm starting to get a little better at it. Then my computer shits the bed, and it's like, oh, great, I lost all my stuff.
Oh, I've been there too. I got self-taught everything. I'm grade 9, so like, there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Self-taught everything. To get to a certain point is now like if I need something, I hire a graphic designer. So
For sure.
now he works for me full time.
You get an expert.
So like now I don't really have to learn a bunch of shit. I'm at the point where I can just hire people who have degrees and shit like that.
For
So
sure.
that comes with time.
Yeah.
But like I would have never got there if I never put in the work. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to do it for you.
yeah, no one's. I mean, my friends used to laugh at me like, "What are you doing? Wasting your time doing YouTube or doing clothing, doing whatever, right?"
For
like
sure,
they
yeah.
didn't get my vision. They never
You
seen
see
it.
what you see.
I'm showing them motherfuckers now, aren't
Yeah,
I?
no doubt. When they're jumping off their cat to go to the bar or whatever, you know, you're building your brand.
Yeah, yeah. They're still working. I mean, it's a good job. I'm not trying to
sure.
shit on it,
For sure.
but I am flying around the world, going on vacations, doing podcasts
Yeah.
for work. So
You're not
like,
ripping Frost anymore.
Exactly,
right?
so fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, it's a journey. I can relate to your journey big time. Yeah, I like that you're going out of your comfort zone and like doing some like it takes a lot of belief in oneself to
sure.
have the balls to even take a leap like that.
Well, yeah, like you're putting yourself out there, right? You're putting yourself out to exposure. Like I've got 1,100 followers. If it was my personal page and just me and my kids and family and whatever, like wouldn't have that many followers.
Yeah.
Not that that's a big thing, but putting myself out there and you're able to, I don't know, put your creativity out there and just to get the response back from people, it's been insane. Like the first time I got an order from somebody I didn't know, never met, no idea who this person is. They're like in Stony Plain. It's like, holy shit, okay, right? Rip downstairs to my office, get the package together, get it sent off, and you know, you get a little note like, hey man, I love the brand. You get a little bit of a shout out. That's what I kind of like. I got to follow up with people more to get more shout outs and content back, because like that's the better content is when they're on their job site, you know, wearing Caterpillar, you know, you see them climbing their tracks with stacks, tracks, and 6-packs on their hoodie, right? Like that's kind of what I'd like to be getting back. But
Well, after this podcast, you're going international.
yeah, man, that's crazy.
I used to get like Australia, Germany, like all around the world. You know what's nuts? It used to cost me $30 to ship a hat from here to Toronto.
Yeah.
To ship a hat from here to Australia is $12.
Are you kidding me?
I wish I was.
That's unreal, man.
So I didn't even want to sell shit in the country because I was basically losing money because back then they didn't have like it didn't all track it for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
So like, oh, he lives here, so it does the math and they charge this much for shipping. So like they didn't have that when I was doing it because I had to build my own website and I didn't build that into it.
Shipping, yeah.
So like I just made a flat rate, which won sometimes and lost some other times. So
Yeah.
like when I was shipping to the East Coast or Toronto or whatever, it's like I'm losing my shirt over here.
Yeah, man. I was just looking at my bill at first package to Ontario. Oh, here's HST. Oh, and they're charging you, you know, American dollars. You're like, okay, whatever. Cost of doing business, right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's a struggle, but I love that you're doing it, and I support it huge. So
No, that's
I
cool.
mean, I
man.
love it.
Yeah, it's cool getting the feedback, especially like going up to the mine. It's been kind of here and there, a couple sales, right? And then I got up there, and then you know made some good friends. Kind of got it into the crew. There's 200 people between the two different companies that interact with each other, like in Mine Ops and in MST. And it's been, what a wicked response. Oh, I want this, I need 3 hoodies, I'm buying my dad one, you know, like, it's been pretty sick, right? And it's just like trying to keep on top of that. And then in the background, like I've got some other issues business-wise, and I'm trying to manage everything. And I think a thing that's a little difficult right now, but I'm working through it, and people are actually pretty understanding, is everyone's used to Amazon. Everyone's used to, oh, if you purchase right now in the next 3 hours, it's going to be at your door tomorrow. Well, like I'm up here with you guys for a week. I'm not making sweatshirts in my camp room, right? So there's a bit of lag time there.
That's why I tried the drop shipping, Because, like, they take the order, they print it, they ship it. So, like,
For sure.
I didn't really have a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't shipping to customers, and there was complaints and people not getting their stuff. So, like, I pulled the pin. I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm going to have employees do all that shit for me.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, there you go.
do it now.
right?
But, I mean, it takes time to get there, right? So,
For sure.
but,
And no one's going to care about your brand more than you,
yeah, for sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you find something, you're like, really? Like, why would you release this to me? But
Mm-hmm.
just try to make it work and keep the customers happy. And one thing that was cool, too, I had a customer recently, like, I've been kind of lacking on my website and inventory
Mm-hmm.
and keeping it updated. So they put in an order. I don't have the shit. So holy fuck. So like I tried to get a hold of him through email. He left his email at checkout, nothing. Okay. He left his phone number. So now I'm texting somebody who has no idea who I am. I said, hey, introduce myself. This is kind of the issue. Since you made an order and it's my problem, I'm going to cut you a deal. You get a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they live super close to a family member here. I dropped it off for free with
Yeah.
no shipping. And now that person's like a client for life. They're happy. They're ordering custom stuff. Like it's taking a problem and turning it into a solution and an opportunity that makes them happy. You know, that could be a lifelong customer. Right?
What's your best seller? Like hoodies or hats?
Hoodies,
or
for sure. Yeah, like I went and bought 72 t-shirts kind of on a whim. It was, you know, a good chunk of change. They're slowly leaving. Like I'm probably going through more of them than customers are buying them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hoodies, big time. I thought hats were going to be a big one, but I've sold out all of my hats, but there hasn't been that much traction with it. Like I want to get my quality up higher. Like I have very high expectations.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
And a lot of these places, like I don't know what it is if they get, because they get, you know, soccer teams and Timbits hockey and whatever, and
Mhm.
maybe things get out the door a little subpar, but like I need to sell this to somebody, you know. And like my competition, who's not my direct competition, they're big names, right?
Mhm.
Someone gets to choose if they're in camp. They're like, I could put my Carhartt hoodie on, I could put my Timberland, my Helly Hansen, whatever it may be. But if they put on Caterpillar, like my artwork better be mint, better be on point, right? So trying to communicate that with the suppliers, like your stuff has to be mint
Mm-hmm.
when I get my hands on it, right?
What's the price point on stuff? Is it?
It's changing too. See, that's the thing. Like, I ordered all my stock 3 years ago, and now my prices, they have to go up. So
Yep.
hoodies right now are going to be about $80. I'm still trying to get my pricing down,
Yep.
point down, right? Hats, I'm going to be losing on unless like I jack up the price, and if people want. To
I've
pay
always
that,
lost
like,
on hats, but
hats. Yeah,
it's
there's
necessary
like-
to
there's
grow
no
the brand.
margin, right? But if people want to wear them, then so be it.
Hats also suck to ship because you need like a square box that doesn't crumple or crease the hat. Like,
Yeah,
pain in the ass.
for sure.
And it costs more to ship because it's bigger.
Yeah, of course they do, right?
It's not squishable.
Yeah, not like the poly mailers. I know there's a shortage of workers in the trade.
Let's talk about it. How come?
I don't know, maybe it's hard to say. Attitudes from old operators and new people coming in, like back to egos, right? People being concerned that, oh, I'm going to be replaced because there's a new person here. Or if that new person's more talkative and open and has a good attitude. I remember one time when I was laboring, there was like, it was crazy because the oil company was just paying per hour. Like I was hired with 85 people in the same week, and it was just, it was a really small company, but everyone was making coins, so who cared? There was 8 of us to a trash pump. We're pumping out muskeg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't sit. Like it was like my first week. I was like, what do I need to be doing? It's already fueled, it's pumping, like, and they're all sitting there, you know. I think they were probably smoking if we could smoke on site, right? Or whatever, you're doing your thing. And I would always be that guy that's just like, I need to be doing something. There's consultants sitting in pickups watching you for the oil company, right? Like, you're being watched. And I remember being told one time, you need to calm down, you're making us look bad. No, dude, you're making yourself look bad, right? Maybe it's being a bit of an overachiever, but I'd rather be busy. I'd rather do something for 12 hours and sit around with my thumb up my ass, waiting for the day to be over, right? And it was funny, that first winter, I was the last, like, official or whatever, laborer working. Guys were getting pulled out of their cabs because all the other laborers were laid off. So other operators were having to come out and suffer in the cold with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, I'm here to work, not here to fuck around.
Oh, I get it. Like, guys used to hate me because I went to work to go outwork everybody. So, like, I wouldn't even take lunch. I was just fucking trim.
Yeah,
I
man.
want to be the best. Not saying that I am, but, like...
No, that's what you're striving for, right?
That's what I was striving for. Like, I was not even trying to be better than other people. I was just trying to be the best that I can. And that came with me outworking everybody. And
Yeah.
that's also why I moved up so fast. But, like, I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, it's like the same thing of me getting on these bigger cats, right? Like, I hadn't turned tracks for 10 months, so I told the trainer, my boss is like, look away for 15 minutes, right? Like don't watch.
A little
'cause
rusty.
This is going to be brutal, right? We're going to have fucking moguls over here.
Dirt bike track, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny in mining, like there's so many meters of fill, like they don't care. You know, even if you gouge and you dip your corner bit, and
That's why it's boring to me.
You got to hear, yeah, I get that, right? And you got a huge windrow. Well, even a 789 comes by, blowing by, and they destroy everything, so it doesn't matter, right? Like, I'm always trying to do finish. I'm always trying to be better. Like, I had a day on a 6 this last week, and I had fun for 12 hours, man. It was a really nice cat.
I used to live for that shit.
Nice, the nicest one there. And I was just trying to finish the whole day. I was like, get over here, you know what I mean? We need you to do other shit. It's like, all right, cool, but yeah, just kind of get a little OCD about it, right?
Right on. Yeah, I miss trimming and all that shit.
Were you ever big into running grader?
I hate grader.
You do? A lot of people do.
I don't like turning around all the time.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, true enough, eh?
I once drove a 24H
Oh, yeah.
down McKnight Boulevard. Like 5 in the morning because, like, we didn't want to pay to move it.
For sure.
So I was, like, in traffic. Whatever reason, that morning, there was tons of traffic. And, like, it takes up both lanes. And, like, to turn a corner, not a wide corner, it was a small corner. Like, I had to articulate, move my blade all the way over so it doesn't hit the light pole and the stop sign or whatever was there. And, like, try to get around this corner. And, like, cars had to stop in the entire intersection because I had to go way out. And, like, it was fucked.
For sure, man.
But a quick little story about a grader, but I don't like graders.
No.
Yeah.
And, well, one thing that was cool, I got a winter of plowing for the city. I was on, like, 724K John Deere's, or 44 maybe. Can't remember the number, but it had, like, what did they call it? A kickback blade. So you had your cutting edges were separated into 2 pieces, and if you hit a manhole or whatever, it was kind of spring-loaded. And that was lots of fun, man. But, like, dealing with traffic and the public, it was insane. We'd be going, oh yeah, you can go down Deerfoot. It's like, are you serious?
No, you can't.
Like, no, we did. There was a couple times, but yeah, you're not supposed to be there.
No slow-moving vehicles on Deerfoot.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was sketchy. Like, we were bombing in and out pretty quickly, but still.
I used to have to road a loader all the time. Doing the ring road years ago now, like in 2009 or 10. I forget what year that was. The east part.
Oh, okay.
And I would have to row this loader from one bridge to another, whatever, and, like, I'm just in there. I don't want to be doing this. I hate loaders, for one. I'm in there bouncing, going full tilt.
Yeah.
On the shoulder, like half on the shoulder, half on the lane or whatever, and, like, motherfuckers, everyone's, like, giving me the finger and honking at me. It's like, dude, I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I hate loaders. I don't want to be here. I know I'm going slow. I'm going as fast as I fucking can. Chill the fuck out.
That's all this thing's got, man.
Like, people just get so angry.
Yeah. No patience, man. They don't get it. It's like, nobody wants me to be here, man. Chill the fuck out, right?
Yeah, and, like, even road construction, like, all the stuff that we deal with, because we can't do it all year round here. So, like, in the summer, there's construction everywhere. Like, it just pisses everybody off. But what they don't understand is, like, why we're doing it. This is going to make everything better for everyone.
For sure.
We're upgrading roads and doing other shit.
Infrastructure.
In construction, the back end, like, shit that no one talks about, but happens all the time. What goes on from your perspective, or what has happened, or, like, do you have some good stories?
First time I got on a buggy, I think it was a 27. And it was like my opportunity to really get on gear, right? Because I'd been laboring the whole time. And on this job, I was site survey, so kind of crash course and running around taking topo shots. Kind of got sick of that. So anyways, I told the foreman, I was like, we were having tons of problems with buggy skinners, man. Like they wouldn't show up for more than a couple days, or, you know, show up, do 3 days of work. I need an advance, right? Like, they have their own reputation, at least up north. And so I was like, you know what, put me in, coach. Like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to learn. There was like a pretty serious incident with one of the people they kicked off site. So I was like, let's do this. Well, I wasn't thinking. And they're like, yeah. It's like, okay. So we went about our normal day, right? Of you go back to your hotel, end up getting drunk. Me and a buddy stayed up till like 4:30 drinking whiskey, right? Just total disregard, right? Who cares? We're here for 24 days. Like, we're gonna do whatever we want on our time off. So I show up, I'm still liquored. I'm ready to just go set up, you know, like the base station and everything. And they're like, you're going on a buggy. It's like, what? Yeah. So-and-so, go show them, right? So I was checking the oil on the back motor, man, and I fucking fell off, right? I was still drunk. It was brutal. I shouldn't have been there. I should have, you know, stepped down. But like, this is your chance. So make it or break it moment, right? So the first couple rounds in and out of the borrow, they're like, oh, I'll go take a couple rounds, you know, go grab a couple loads, get a feel for it. All right, so I'm already sweating in there, trying to calm down and everything. And load 4, it's like, all right, get out there, get into the fill. Like, we've got 1 lane open for traffic. It's a range road. The person I was training on GPS at the time, she took over. She's setting grade stakes, shoulder stakes, man. And I got slabs in my bowl, and I'm like, don't kill this person, you know what I mean? Don't kill this person. It was sketchy, and I've never done that again. Like, that was stupid. Total disregard. But like on that job, you know, we'd stop and have breaks, and guys would come out and they'd be like, oh, you want one? And they got a cigarette, or like a cigarette pack full of like 10 coners, like just dipped in oil. And you're like, man, like, how do you even function throughout the day? Like, I've enjoyed those with those guys after hours, but like, they're just sitting there getting blazed right on, you know, 10 o'clock coffee. And,
all day, every day.
And then back in their dozer, back in their buggy. This one guy, he was in a 37G, and for whatever reason it had transmission issues in the back or engine issues, but he was getting pushed everywhere. Had to get pushed out of the cut and into the fill and everything. And he would be so high that he would be asleep, and then the buggy behind him would tag off, and he'd just sit there. And he'd be slumped over the wheel. And they'd call him all the time. One safety meeting in the morning, they're like, oh, we found a grinder in one of these buggies. You guys need to get your shit together. We can't be having this on site. I don't care what you do after hours, but not here. 2 seconds later, 2 guys that always ran together, they light up a joint as they're leaving. Hey, you 2 get back here. You're done. Like, it's crazy. There was one time when I was installing culverts and I was pretty hungover, and my foreman gave me like 3 Percocet, man. Don't take these all at the same time and don't hurt yourself. Buddy, I'm going to take them all right now, right? So that was kind of like my early years. And now, having a family and everything, man, like, and the size of the gear that we're on, you can't have that shit, man. Like, it's bad for the industry. It's bad for everybody you're working around. It's so easy to lose something, a blind spot, a pickup, a laborer, whatever, right? And it's, you know, you hear all the old timers, oh, the good old days when you can have a bottle in your lunchbox, right? But it's not like that anymore, man. There's too many moving parts.
Yeah, I've dealt with a bunch of that myself. I once had this old timer. He's on D11. Yeah, he did great all day or whatever. At the end of the day, parked D11, door swung open, and beer cans, empty beer cans, just coming all down the truck. The guy was like wasted. He could barely walk out. He drank like a 15 pack of black ice or something, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
just like,
Just obliterated. Shouldn't even be driving home, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think I made him wait an hour or 2 to like get in his car, because like I'm responsible of everything, right?
For
So,
sure, yeah.
Dude, I seen so much shit. Like guys doing rails on the dash of the dozer and nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a disregard. Like, I get it. It's nice to let your hair down and whatever, and sometimes, you know, your job's stressful or you're tired, you need to pick me up, but like, you kill somebody, like, what's your life going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no,
Even if you skip jail, right? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta live with that shit for the rest of your life.
I found scraper operators specifically are, for whatever reason,
Yeah, man.
are the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
It's like drywallers
yeah,
in that industry. Yeah, they're the worst too.
it's crazy. Crazy how that shit
Yeah, man.
works out, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I have lots of stories. I'm trying not to talk about them all.
Yeah,
I pick a couple stories for each episode or whatever, but
for sure.
all short stories. But yeah, it's a wild industry. A bunch of that type of stuff, like drugs and all that stuff, is changing within the industry. There's a lot more. It's changing. Like there's tight rules now and safety programs. Where before, like no one had safety programs.
Yeah, man.
It was like common sense. Like don't do that. And that's like, okay,
All right, I won't.
are you fucking stupid? What do you do
Yeah.
that for? It's your own
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah, for
But-
sure. For sure. No, and I think it is trending that way. I think it's getting better. I think people are making better decisions.
Mhm.
And it's not commonly accepted either. I don't think, like I did touch on, there's like a bit of a rat culture. But at the same point, you also have to look out for somebody, right? Like if someone's doing really stupid shit, you need to either like intervene with them, or I guess you got to take it to the higher ups.
Mhm.
Because you can't have that on site, man. Like, it's not acceptable anymore.
What is the most dangerous thing you've ever seen at work? You don't need to call no one out or nothing.
No, but if anybody watches this, they'll know. And I thought guys died, man. It was pretty messed up. We were moving a piece of gear. It was burnt. It was a burnt Packer, so an 836H. They had it on one of those, like Kidco's got one of those. What do they call them? The hammock trailer.
The rail.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have the rails, but yeah, the same idea. They had the front. They decked it off. Right?
Oh,
So
like a
it's-
Jeep. Like a
Yeah, they
yeah,
took the
the
two Jeeps and the tower and everything, right?
I know what that's called. I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I don't know what it's called. I know
You know what?
it unhooks in the front.
I don't remember
Yeah,
anymore
yeah, yeah.
either, but yeah, it was a while ago. So the trailer's basically on a grade. The only way to disengage this machine out of park was to get inside the articulation in between the wheels. So we had seen the mechanic do it when it was on the ground. We pushed it on the trailer, and pushed and winched, got it on the trailer, secured it with chains and boomers and everything. So I got told to go work with a picker operator, so I'm just helping him take the load off and everything. We're on the other side of the yard. The truck driver was supposed to wait for another guy so that they could actually do kind of like a tandem pull and release,
Mhm.
so that everything comes down nice and safely and smoothly. Well, he was in a big rush, and they weren't having any of that. I don't even know how they were able to get the boomers off or how everything went down, but all of a sudden I hear this racket, and it's a really large Packer, man. Like, I don't know what it's comparable to a loader, but it's like quarry size.
Yeah.
It comes freewheeling off that trailer like 35 miles an hour. Just a storm of dust and noise, and I'm like, holy shit, because I know the only way that thing's moving is someone's in the articulation. I sinking feeling in my stomach, man. Like, I thought for sure someone had died. So we're standing there, like the guy on the picker's kind of wondering what I'm doing. I'm just, stop, lock out, whatever, like, and I'm just watching. And I counted all the heads, and everyone was there. They went about their day like it wasn't a big deal, and I told some guys, like some coworkers about it, right? I was like, man, this is fucked. Like, we can't be doing this, right? Well, I got back around, and there were some guys and shit about it, but like, you can't do that, man. It's just total disregard, right? Something's going to happen. You can be lucky only so many times.
I agree. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of wild shit too. It's amazing that more people don't die.
For sure. And like when safety comes out, oh, you got your piece of paper. Meanwhile, they'll have their blinders on too. All kinds of conditions out there that are totally unsafe. Right?
Well, right on, man. It's been a wicked podcast. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
thanks for having
I think people are gonna like the podcast. We talked about a bunch of cool stuff that I think needs to be talked about. I learned some stuff about landfills and stuff like that. Great episode.
Cool, man. Thanks
Thank-
for having me.
Thanks for coming. If you want to check out his clothing, you can click the link. It's going to pop up right here. You can go right to his website. Go support him. He's a family man, dad or pillar. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, man.